Good morning, everybody. Meteorologist Dan Brown. A chilly start this morning, but a beautiful day on tap. We're going to see temperatures come up into the middle and upper 60s. A little bit of thin fog early, but that's burning off quickly. Sunshine's going to prevail today. Just a few clouds to mix in as we go into the afternoon. Highs again, upper 60s, so looking good. The wind's going to be rather light today as well. We'll cool back as we go into this evening. And so by tomorrow morning, we're back down to around 40 degrees. So another cool start, but a beautiful day tomorrow with highs topping off near 70. Friday, we go mostly cloudy with showers in the afternoon. Might linger into Saturday morning. As the day goes on Saturday, will likely improve. Brighter skies in the afternoon. And then Sunday looks beautiful. October 1st. And it looks like much of next week a warm up with a lot of sunshine as well. All right, that's a look at your forecast. Let's check on today's top stories. Good morning, Amanda.
Good morning, Dan. I'm Amanda Callahan. Here's your latest news update from Western Mass News. Montgomery Police are investigating a suspicious car on Pitcher Street. Police received reports of a white sedan with 3 men inside stopping at the ends of people's driveways. No word on what those men were doing, but additional officers are now patrolling the area. If you have photos or videos of the car or the people inside on your property, you're being asked to contact Montgomery Police. A Springfield man was arrested in connection to an August murder that happened on Hancock and Union Streets. On August 6th, Springfield Police responded to reports of a gunshot victim there. When officers arrived on scene, they found 29-year-old Emmanuel Hernandez Garcia, who later died from his gunshot injuries. While this incident was under investigation, police identified 25-year-old Eduardo de Jesus Vasquez of Springfield as the alleged shooter. He is expected to be arraigned in Springfield District Court today. The entrance to Bay State Medical Center's Wesson building will be closed so that preparations can take place ahead of paving the entrance. The entrance will close at 7 this morning and reopen around noon tomorrow. While the entrance is closed, patients and visitors looking to enter the Wesson building will need to pull into the emergency department entrance off Springfield Street and follow the parking attendants on site. The paving at the entrance will take place on Saturday.